So folks, I've got a commission that I have to do. I've got 2 pieces of 9-inch basswood, 3 by 3 by 3 on the bottom. And somebody saw a Santa that I carved, I think it was January or February, and they wrote me and asked if I could carve another one. I said, sure. So usually what I do is I carve 2. I let them pick the one that they want. The other one I put on the website usually sells sometime before Christmas. So I'll put a picture up here in just a second of what the Santa should look like, what the customer expects, and I better get to work. So that went pretty quick. Here's the first one, folks. I got that one done, and I think it's a pretty close match. I even have the tassel on the right side. I did the Merry Christmas, just like the other one had, and now I'm set to do the same exact thing with this other piece of wood. So the one thing I want to do is I always like to carve, if I can, into the grain, you know, for the face and the features. I just think it makes a difference. So I look at the grain here, and I'm probably going to do this because the grain is going this way. This was a pretty big log too, but you can see the arc of the rings right here. So I'm going to do the face on this side, but first step is to take the 70-degree gouge and just cut along the side. And then I use this flat gouge just to kind of work against that, you know, like this, kind of clean it up. So not too bad. There's the first one, and I told her I was going to give her a second one to look at so she could choose from, and here we go. Okay, so I got that cut out. That looks pretty good. Next step is to do the rough out. So I just want to take the edges off. Okay, so now that I got that part out of the way, what I want to do is just establish where the shoulders go. Which are right about there. Okay, as you can see, that worked pretty good. And, you know, as I said before, I like this HCT30. I use that for rough out, and literally I just keep the same blade on it. This is a flex cut 1-inch blade, perfect for roughing out for the size work that I do. And just a great tool overall. I mean, it gets not even warm here. I was going to say it gets slightly warm, but that's not even warm. Great tool. You just have to keep it greased in here. I use a white lithium grease. Gosh, years I've had this thing. So I've made some wood chips here. Great for the garden. Don't throw them in the trash. Throw them in the garden. I've got a whole 5-gallon bucket of them. But on to the next step. So what I want to do at this stage is pencil in the face. I want to do the brim of the hat, and I'd like to work down. So I'm going to do the eyes and the face, and same as this little guy here with the hands and the mittens and all that jazz. So that's the next step. Okay, so I pretty much got them where I want them to be as far as the width here and penciled in the face. So the next step is I'm going to use, this is a 70-degree gouge, 1/4 inch 70-degree. And I'm going to go ahead and do the eyes around the nose and just kind of work on the eyes a little bit here. And then I kind of like to see how this is going to turn out before I decide where the beard is going to drop, because I might just lower it a little bit just to make sure that the beard's not, you know, too short. Now that I've got the nose kind of where I want it and the brow, I'm going to start carving the eyes out. Pretty much the same routine, just coming in here, notching that on the side, and I want it sort of flat here. And the same thing on the other side. And of course, you got to clean it up in here. Same thing on the other side. Pencil the eyes in. In this case, for the eyes, I'm probably going to use my 70-degree 1/4 inch gouge. This will get nice and tight in there. And since I'm working with something a little bit bigger than this, the 2x2 inch stock, this is 3x3, I think I'll be able to get in here with that 1/4 inch 70-degree. So that's what I'm up to. I'm going to keep on carving. Okay, so the eyes are looking pretty good. Nice angle. I might have to take it in just a little bit. It's got a little bit too much of, I guess you would call it a Roman nose. Always a little bit of work to do like that. So the next step is to find my 70-degree gouge and just carve in these cheeks. I'm going to carve in the cheeks, then do the mustache, work down to the beard, and just kind of keep working my way down. Okay, on this sand I'm actually going to do eyebrows, something a little bit different. So I've penciled those eyebrows in. I'm just going to take this U-gouge, number 11 1/8 U-gouge, and just kind of do this first. And just check them just to make sure that they match. This one needs a little bit more off. That looks pretty good. And with this Santa, what I'm going to do is he's going to have a little bit of hair right up here at the top like that. So we're going to carve that in. And then for that hairline, I'd like to give it just a little bit of a notch right here, just to make it look a little bit more like hair would look. Okay, onto the mustache. I can texture that actually a little bit. Why don't we do that? Texture that eyebrow with this really small, this is that micro carving tool, and I get these from Dockyard Tools. Last you forever, and it lets you get into there like this. Just do a little bit of fine detailing. You can see that texture is what we want on those eyebrows. Great to have the right tool for the job like that. All right, Santa, you're looking pretty good. So next off is the beard. Mustache first, then the beard, and then just kind of work my way down. Okay, so this is where I've got them right now. I've got the beard done, and I've just done underneath the arms like that. Now it's a great time to bring out the old beast, the HCT30, and just kind of blow out some of this stuff that I don't need. Okay, so I'll keep going along that way. I'll probably redefine this, going a little bit deeper, get that tool back out, and clean it up. But I just love it. I don't know, I'm kind of addicted to that thing when it comes to roughing out. Some people can use it for the finer work. I love to just rough out with it because it just removes a lot of material in a hurry. And then these other bits, they just come right off when you get in there. So I'll keep doing that and slowly but surely get the Santa where I want him to be. Okay, so for the, you can see where he's at right now. I need to get it in here and kind of form these arms just a little bit. So to do that, And this is a number 3 5/8. So I'm just going to keep doing this until I get the shape that I want. Okay, so the Santa's looking a little bit better, a little bit more like a Santa. And what I like to do is undercut the, looking for the right chisel here, kind of like to undercut the cuffs a little bit. And I do that with this gouge, just coming in here like that. Just adds a little bit more detail. Okay, so the next step is, and I'll always be coming back and just cleaning up a little bit here and there, depending on how you look at it and turn it. So the next part is going to be cutting out the beard, similar to what I did over here. Okay, I've been carving out the beard a little bit here, and I want to put in a little bit more detail, so I'm using this number 11 1/8, and I'm just going to add a little bit of a swirl right here, one constant move. Same thing right in here. Just add a little bit more texture. So I'll keep doing that. Then I've got to carve the mustache, and I think at this point I can go ahead and carve out the hat. Just working on the cap and getting that carved out, and it looks like I got to come back in through here just a little bit more. Kind of difficult to get right where I want to go, but I kind of use my leg to pin it in there. Very unique carving style you have there, sir. All right. I'm going to keep working away at this until I get what will look something like this. So I'm going to put a little bit of a, start to go down a little bit right in here. Take this little bit out. Take this out, and then I'm going to draw in the tassel right back there like that. Then use that this gouge to take it out and kind of go around the tassel. Okay, so I'm ready to use this bigger gouge, and I just want to follow that line that I just put in. So I'm going to keep hacking away at this tassel on the top here, kind of undercut it a little bit, and then I'm going to use this chisel to kind of take the bevel off of this side of the cap, and then I think it's time to start working on the rope down here, putting in some of these sort of like little curls and give it a little bit of motion. Okay, I've got the cap done, and what I'm working on now is just putting a little bit of detail into this robe. And I'm using this number 8 by 3/8 gouge to do it. Takes a little bit of force. Get this chisel through that. That looks pretty good. So the next step is just take the big 70-degree gouge, just kind of detail some of these road marks that I just made. Now the next step that I kind of like to do is just make that robe sort of come out like this. So I'm going to undercut, following that line that I just put in. Just do a little bit of undercutting. Like that. Which means that right here, I need another one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the undercutting and show you what it looks like. And then I think after that, I'll probably add some buttons in here. Real easy to do. This is a brace that I use right here, by the way. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move the camera. It sort of keeps the, sometimes my arm aches right here, and it kind of keeps the muscle happier. I don't know what it does, but it seems to work. So what I want to do for the buttons is I'm just going to use a gouge like this, and I'm just going to go in a circle like right here, and just keep moving it around. Then you just need to get a really sharp chisel and undercut right up to that button. So I need 3 of those. And then it's time to put the lettering in. Okay, now it's time for the lettering. So I want it to look like this. So I've penciled everything in. I have no idea what kind of font this is. But I've penciled everything in. I'm using the 70-degree 1/8 gouge to just create the definition between the lettering. It's actually the lines that I put in just to make sure that I had everything spelled out. I'm just going to keep doing this. A little crooked on that one. I'm just going to keep doing this until I get to the end, and I'm going to use this gouge to carve out the letters, as well as pretty much anything that works. Like I'll use this U gouge to get in there, and I'll use this 70-degree 1/4 inch gouge to do things like the M, and right next to the A, and I'll just use the 70-degree to put in these lines. U gouge to get in here. I'll use that the same way that I put the buttons on to do that. And yeah, just use the tools. We'll see what it looks like. Okay, well, I just got the Santa finished, and he's lightly sanded. Still have a little bit more sanding to do on the cap, but all in all, I think he turned out pretty good. I like the beard. A little bit more sanding to do in here just to kind of clean that up. Lettering turned out good. And what I'll do is probably come in with a darker, real dark green, forest green, and then I'll use like a metallic lighter green on top, just so that the letters stand out. I'll have to show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. But yeah, all in all, pretty good. So here's the 2 Santas. Similar yet different. As hard as I try to carve 2 Santas that look the same, they come out a little bit different. I kind of like this one, actually, the one on my right hand. The lettering on this one's a little bit smaller. I still like it, but I don't know, I think the bigger lettering you know, is the way to go. So there you have it, folks. Just now all I have to do is paint them, which is a ton of work, but she'll have 2 to pick from, whichever one she wants. Okay, thanks for watching, folks, and we'll be sure to have another project shortly.